there's a, I would have never learned this Rambam because no one learns the Hagdumah. In the Seder of the Chabad Seder, if you paid attention, Hagdumah is part of the. So let me tell you the Chiddush about Megillah. So the Ramah says, what happens if on Purim, if there's two mitzvahs, either I read the Megillah or I do another mitzvah, the Moshe Daraisa. What happens if I read the Megillah, I won't have time to make the bris for my son. Whatever the reason, things got delayed, and if one of the two. So the Ramah says, Avada, the bris is the Raisa. The Raisa, we never push. All the Chronim argue on the Ramah. The Taz, the Gun, the Pri Chodesh. They say from the Gemara is not mashma that way. Okay, so the question is, what's the answer? How can you say, read the Megillah and not do the mitzvah deraisa? Megillah is only a Drabanan, the Chayda. So this is a kasha that everyone tries to answer. You know, the Gemara. Yeah, well, yeah, but what is so? It's Pepsi Manisa. Any mitzvah, any. Anyway.
You could make an argument. You could say, hey, you could do this.
Yeah, but that's not. But it's not the mitzvah. That it's true, but the mitzvah is to do it deraisa today. You have a mitzvah to the 8 days the ikachir. Tomorrow you missed the Yom Hashmini. You missed the Yom Hashmini. The bris. You follow?
What Gemara is this based on?
This is in the Gemara and Megillah. The Gemara says that everything. What do you say?
No, no, we won't hear about the Zizma Gimel.
That's something else. That's something else. But so this is a Ramah, and all the Mishnah brings it down, and all the Chayim, the Taz and the Bach and Marshal, all say the Gemara is not mashma that way. So there's a very interesting Rambam, and let me tell you a cute story. It's before Purim. I'll tell you a cute story. I showed this Rambam to a big Talmud Chacham, and I get from Etzisol, and we're sitting around, and he says, whoever finds me, I show him the Rambam's Nagdum that discusses Purim. I'll tell you, the Chiddush the Rambam says, and he says, anyone who finds the Rambam, I give him $3,000. 20 years ago, there was no search engine yet. And, looking, a guy promised $3,000. So I showed him the Rambam. The Rambam is not in Hilchos. They were looking and looking and looking. And one guy sat down and he was looking, he had a Sefer Lekita, a bunch of Lekita. Finally, Ben Hashmoshes, right before we went there, so I said to them, you're not mechuyev to pay the $2,000 when you find it. It's a smachta. You know what a smachta means. So we made a Bezdin Choshev, made a Kinyan, that he's going to pay $2,000 who finds the Rambam. And no one found it till they said to the Mamish Ben Hashmoshes, before we came, someone found the brisker of quotes the Rambam. The Rambam says here a very interesting thing in the Agdoma. He says, he asked the Kasha, there's Tariq mitzvahs, and how does one allowed to add another mitzvah? The Novi is coming to say a mitzvah, you're about to see about Toisiv is not only you're not allowed to add 5 bottom to tefillin. If you say I found another mitzvah in the Torah. Hashem is, different than Moshe Rabbeinu. Hashem spoke to me. I figured it out. Moshe Rabbeinu missed something, I figured something out. You're about Toisiv. So how could the Rabbanim say we should read the Megillah? Added the mitzvah. Yeah, all the mitzvahs are. So the Rambam says the Mishnah Erev, and we understand the mitzvahs Erev. Erev is a gzeira. Chazal want to make it even chatzeres, even tachima. That's what we understand. But what is Mikra Megillah? So the Rambam says a mavel de gewart. It's the words of the Rambam is so beautiful. He says, Elekachu neom shanavim in Bezdin tikni. They said we should read the Megillah at its right time. We should mention the Shvach of Hashem. He says, it's Shiois, Shiois means, and the salvation, She'osaluni. Then the Rambam says, he was close to our screamings. We should bench him, the Rambam says, to notify the next generation, she'emes Mashiv Tichtuni B'Torah, it's emes what Hashem promised us. Ki mei goigud Ashelo Elikim, Asher Chol Kreini, you hear? The Rambam says, why is Megillah? For two reasons. First, remember the salvation, and then to tell generations later, no matter what, Hashem listens to our screams. The pasuk that Hashem mi goy gudel, so the Rambam learns Mikra Megillah is a announcement that the Rebbeinu Shem listens to our tefillahs. You know where we say this in Davening? We say Shoshanas Yankov, in Chabad they sing Shoshanas Yankov, Lo Hidia, Lo Shekol Kavechu, Lo Yevoishi, Lo Yikolmi, Lo Netzach. The idea, the Rambam learned, that's the whole Mikra Megillah. That generations to know. So the Rambam learned Mikra Megillah is to show that the words of Hashem is correct. So it's like a Ke'en Deraisa, the Rambam seems to say. The Rambam explains it's only the Rabbanim. But the Rabbanim said to do this to show how this pasuk that Hashem promised us exists. So I said to myself, maybe that's the reason why it could be the Eichad Deraisa, because it's a Ke'en Deraisa. The Rebbeinu Shalom promised us, and we are making a declaration. The promise that He promised us, here it is. What do you think of that?
It's like a mitzvah quality.
That's a mitzvah, yes. So, to Santa Rambam, you can make this bet with someone. But the Chabad, who wouldn't know what the Rambam is in the end of the Gduma. And this page, it's page Yitzayin. That Rambam says the Mikra Megillah is to mention the salvation and to remind us that the Rebbeinu Shalom listens to us whenever we scream to Him. I quickly want to say, Drush, I always tell people that you see the famous question, how does tshuva mahava, the tshuva miyera is nasa's doinus l'kshugugas, tshuva mahava nasa l'kischuyis. The old Averis becomes a good thing. How could that be? All my Averis be a good thing? The biggest rai is Mikra Megillah. Megillah came because we sinned. Why did Haman come? Because we bowed down Zman Mechanetza. 2 minutes. In the Eirish and Hannah, or we bowed down, and the Medrash is it's a Mechidas Yosef involved. Interessant. We sinned. Bekitza, Haman came because we sinned. And what did we get out of it with the tshuva? We got such a beautiful Yontif. Everyone looks forward for Purim. No. So we see, we did such a terrible Aveda. We were masaking it, and we got out this incredible, beautiful Yontif of Purim. So there's always hope for every one of us, no matter how much we slip and slide. Anyways, so let me just say a few things about the Megillah. There's a big machlokes. How early can you read the Megillah? The artists Shiurim who learn that you could read the Megillah. This year it's not the Geya. You could read the Megillah from Plaga Mincha. People used to fast. It's very hard for them to fast. So there's some hold you can read the Megillah. Plaga Mincha is an hour and a quarter before the Shkia. So that's that. But the Gua and the Pri Chudash both say that you can't read the Megillah. This is not davening. Davening you can daven Plaga Mincha. Daven Marav you can daven early. But Megillah, Chazal, were masakin it has to be on the day. You can't. They argue vehemently that you cannot.
It's the night.
Only Gaba davening, Gaba everything not. You can't say it's night the Gaba Shabbos. You don't say the Gaba night the Gaba. A guy's going to say I don't know fast anymore. I'm not going to fast. So you see, it's only in Tefillah. That's what they go and argue. It's only in Tefillah. You don't say guy Tanis Tisha B'av. Let's daven early Mincha Plega Mincha and finish. You see, you don't do that. So just you don't say the Gaba Tanis. Says the Gun. Why should you say the Gaba Mikra Megillah? The question is, how about Ben Ishmoshes? Many years ago, someone asked me, he had to fly to New York. I think his father had a stroke or something, I forgot the story. And he wanted to read very early. I thought, rather go to the airport and read yourself. Read it for yourself. You want to make a minyan, then read quite early, and I didn't like the whole idea. Yeah, but he was a potter. He had to run to see his father. He was really oisib mitzvah. His father had a stroke, and he had to run to New York. But Afa became some hold b'shas at Chak. That's what the Gon says. But Rishtibiri says Ben Chak, he could be Ben Shmoshes, you could read.
The mitzvah you want to go do is the Raisa?
That's for sure. Kibbad Avayim, B'Kechaylam, that's for sure the Raisa.
Because the Rambam says in the Rabbanim.
Well, we don't know what the Rambam means, because you know, have to Rachim Kamecha. We don't know what exactly the Rambam means. Some learn it's a Deraisa, the Rabban explained us how to do the mitzvah, have to Rachim Kamecha. It's not so clear. What do you say? Ben Hashmoshes means no. Ben Hashmoshes means Ben Hashmoshes. Ben Hashmoshes means from after the sunset, whatever sheet you hold. According to Shulchan Aruch Harav, about just 31 minutes after the Shkia, approximately. Then I'm going to tell you another thing. Many people don't know. Reading the Megillah by day is more important than reading the Megillah at night. Many people don't know this. The Ikkechi of Megillah, the Gemara seems to say, is by day. When it says you should read it at night, it's a nafkamina. A person can make a big nafkamina, but you know that often I find women come at night but don't come by day. I have to tell the wives and the girls who are giyah l'chinuch that. Now it's very interesting that the zman hashulchan aruch, the woman did not come to shul. So there's a din of Ramam Hadras Melech. You know what that means? The bigger the mitzvah to, but the zman hashulchan aruch, the woman did not come to shul. By woman we don't say Rav Am. Some Sefer, I think it's the Chasam Sefer. The Chasam Sefer says a very good explanation why women don't have a chiv to come to shul. You know that women don't light the menorah. Even Chabad, I think, women don't light the menorah. It's only the men. Why don't women light the menorah? So the Chasam Sefer says, Kol kvidig bas melech penimu. Chazal didn't want the woman, the Ikka mitzvah to light us outside. We only light inside, we have no choice. You didn't want the woman to be outside. That's not sneeze. They go out is one thing. We should tell them to go out. No, we don't tell them to go out. So the same way is by Barov Am. They didn't want her to say you have to go to a shul. So there's no mitzvah, says the Chasam Sefer, of Ram Am by woman. That's never was the minig. Rav Am means the bigger the minion, the nicer it is. Rav Am Hadras Melech. The more, how you say in English, more the population, it's the glorifies Hashem. Hadras is glorification. Not obligated to do this. They could stay home and read, and someone should read the Megillah for them. The minig was in Europe that the woman did not come to shul. Many gedolim wanted mevatel the whole woman coming to shul. Let's be very honest. It's a big show. I don't know about this part of town. My part of town, coming to shul is a big show off.
Listen, the point is that they go out anyway. It's a different world. They're going out for unholy things, so they might as well go out for holy things.
I'm not sure. I think it's I have Kanina raised many daughters. And their focus was that 20 minutes when they come to greet me from home from shul, what they should wear. You have daughters? How many? I had 8. So I could tell you, this is the focus. Anyways, I don't know if you know there were gedolim who didn't in Europe. There were okay. Then there's another big machlokes to Shimon Gavrum the Eli Rabba. It's not a mitzvah. No. Yeah, there's no mitzvah for women to go to shul. It's a chiyuv to daven with minyan. A woman have no chiyuv of minyan. Yeah, but minyan. Well, the machlokes is how much of the raisa. Shmachta, pashtas. Okay, then there's a machlokes in the Megavrum El Rabbi. You know that Marev, you have to daven before Chatzos. You know that. And it's Mishnah. The first Mishnah Masechtas Brachos. So there's a question, Megillah too. Do you have to read the Megillah before Chatzos or no? So the Eli Rabbi held, just like there's a chiyuv to laying Krishma before Chatzos. Chazal demanded because you might fall asleep and not laying Krishma. The same thing Megillah. You have to this. I had some. Remember a few years ago, someone asked me this question. I remember I didn't realize it was a machlokes. It was one of the Bachar were doing something that night. They were driving. I remember now. A guy's job was to drive around the Bachar from minyan to minyan, and he said he's going to read the Megillah after everything is done. So no, I mean, not allowed to do it. It says that's a machlokes Megavrum Eli Rabba. That means if there's by Megillah also you have to read before Chatzos. Megavrom says, I think it's the Megavrom holds, Chazal never said it by Megillah because mitzvah Megillah is chaviva. We're not afraid you're going to forget it, and people love Mikra Megillah. It's something that you like. Ma'arav, Nunu, it's a whole year. Unfortunately, I think so, but Megillah is not going to forget. And he also adds, the Megavrom adds because the main kriya is B'yoyim. He adds, V'gam, I wrote down the words, V'gam ikka kriya B'yoyim. Like it's not the main kriya is B'yoyim. Okay. Now, there's a din, I want to tell you, interessant halacha. Many people don't know. If a guy, unfortunately, went to sleep and forgot to daven ma'ariv, he wakes up in the morning and realizes he didn't daven ma'ariv, so he could lay berches krishma, that he could have ma'ariv before the loss for sure. I once came to shul and the guy told me I forgot to daven ma'ariv. I woke up this morning and I came to shul. I hope I was going to see her. I said, daven right now. But what happens is after the loss, so we paskin you can't daven Shema Nesra, but you could say berches krishma. And Shema. But Shema, why? So the question is, if a guy did not read the Megillah as the loss, can you read the Megillah now? So all the Chronim say, the Megavrom, the Purim Gum says you can't. You know why? Because Krishma, the reason the Gemara says you can lay Krishma till the nets, because people are still laying in bed then. Once upon a time, as soon as it was the crack of dawn, everyone got up because they took advantage of the light. It's not like we have. There was the only ones who slept late was the kings, means very wealthy people, not just the king, very wealthy people. Everyone got up at the crack of dawn. So, but there are people still before the nets are still in bed, so that's why you could, let's say, Krishma. But the Masa, it's not night anymore. But the Eved, if look at Chila, he's not allowed to read the Megillah in the morning till the sun rises. You're not allowed to. But the Eved, you're also allowed to. I also had once a guy had to go, a doctor had to go on call. He had to do his, and I told him he should read the Megillah, but the Allahs. You had someone reading. Still delaying, still laying in bed. That's what we're going to. What? Right. So, yeah, that's why after loss you can't. That's what you can't. Right. Krishma you could. Megillah you can't. But the question now the other way around. Can you read the Megillah by day after loss? You're not allowed to. Every mitzvah, but you have to do by day, you have to do it after the nets. But there's a shasat chak. I remember one day I told the doctor I don't know. I always told him he could find for money, he could change the rounds. But he read, some read in Megillah, right at the loss. And he, what?
At night you can read it before a loss?
At night, yes.
Yeah.
But the morning, see at night, at night the person going to get Getcheli can read till the loss. In the morning, everyone agrees you're not supposed to read the day Megillah only till the nets. But if you have a big need, you're allowed to read it about the loss.
Do it together. One again,
Then there's a big machlokes if a person does. This I once saw. I think of Shlomo Zalman. You're not supposed to read the Megillah, like only b'shas adchak after the loss. Let's say a guy wants to read the Megillah. He wants to. And he wants to be mitzvah someone else. Can you say arvis is something that you're doing wrong? Understand the question? The Gemara says you're not allowed to read the Megillah like Tchila only after the nets. That's a Mishnah. Why? Chazal made exeter if you're going to read before the nets. Maybe you learn too early. You're not going to know. So Chazal demanded, but the Avid, if you did read it, is okay. So but the Avid is a Shasat Chak, is also called. But it is no the Avid. He wants to read the Megillah early. He wants to go Hatzkening. It's a Yiddish word saying he wants to run around, shul hopping. Okay, so Lamaisa, so can I, let's say you both of us want to do it, I'll read the Megillah for you, be Yoitze. How, when I read the Megillah, you Yoitze, it worked with Arvis. You know what Arvis means? A guarantor. That's called, the Arvis is a guarantor. The Gemara says, if I read the Megillah, I could be Yoitze you. So the question is, does that help on something you're not allowed to do like a tchila? You understand the question? You're not supposed to do that.
Does it have to do with the listener?
The listener, right.
I'm saying maybe it has to do with the listener. If the listener is b'chal not going to hear it.
No, is it?
And here he's going to hear it.
Oh, that's something else. That could be.
You're asking whose chak is it?
But let's say, let's
If the reader is doing something to the other.
let's say both. Let's say both to be the Let's say both, and then both could do it later. They just yeah. So that's a suffix. Do we say arvis on such a thing? Something you do incorrupt. Do we say arvis? Right. It's a suffix in Achronim.
Make it without a bracha. Can you make a bracha? For yourself, yeah.
Yeah. What?
Unless you can make a bracha.
Yeah, brother, you make a bracha. Then there's another very interesting thing there. The Gemara says, "Mavatan tov metoira nekriyas Megillah." So the Welt asks, "Why do you mavatan Talmud Torah? Isn't Megillah or Talmud Torah?"
It's like asking Tehillim. Is Tehillim Torah or Tefillah?
Well, if you don't know what you're saying, then it's nothing. It's I don't know what it is.
Okay.
But let's say a guy knows what he's saying. Why is not Tehillim Torah? Of course it's Torah.
That's why.
Doesn't matter. So what? So what?
That's what you're saying?
This is a kasha, not my kasha. The Chorinim, the Shlomi Kliger wants to say something about the Rabbi saying. The Shlomi Kliger wants to say a chiddush. You understand the question? The Lashon Gemara is you mavatal Talmud Torah. We're reading the Megillah. So all the Achronim ask, all the Achronim, why me mavatal Talmud Torah? That's part of the Ksuvim. It's a Torah with that. If a person who read the Megillah today, he was not learned. Of course he learned Torah. That's a famous question. The Shlomi Kliger wants to say what the Rabbi said. He wants to say that when I'm doing a mitzvah, that's not called Torah learning. That's like saying Tillam. That's a big chiddush. He says, when I'm doing the Kriya Megillat's mitzvah, it's not called Torah learning. Others learn, other Chronim learn, that Shulchan Aruch seems to say that in Hilchos Talmud Torah. There's another type of a bittul Torah. Let's say you could really right now utilize learning something much more difficult. You know, the famous Rav says, if you don't utilize learning, yeah, you take it easy. I'm learning, but who says I have to work so hard? I'll read some nach. If you don't utilize your koich, that's also called bittul Torah. So that's according to the Rav, it's very good. Mavatan Talmud Torah, Megillah means that.
So what's Tehillim if you don't understand it?
Tehillim you don't understand it is a shtickle. According to many poskim, you miyoytze a little bit divrei Torah. I'm not sure. I think the Shulchan Aruch holds in Hilchos Talmud Torah. If you don't understand the Ksuvim, you're yoytze. If you don't understand Torah Shabbat Peh, you're not yoytze. He says on Ksuvim, you don't know what you're talking about, you're yoytze. But on what's his name, on Pilpil, Torah Shabbat Peh, if you don't know what you're saying, you're not yoytze. Today we have Ksuvim with Art Scroll or the English with a Chabad. All the, you know.
Well, people who are davening for somebody saying Tehillim, they don't know what they're saying. It's a tefillah, no?
I don't know what it is. If you don't know what you're saying, I don't know. I don't want to say anything. I know that. I don't know what. I don't know what it is. If you know, that's why when I was young, I taught myself Tehillim. It's not so hard. Today, I sometimes chazat Tehillim. The English translations are great today. They do a wonderful job. I told someone who says Tehillim, I don't know, but some people who say Tehillim, but your birthday, how does it go? The year F or the legs, yeah? Told the guy, learn that kapitel Tehillim.
That's how many, by the way, to learn.
To learn it. So Mela, that kapitel is sure you can know perfectly, say it every day. Okay. What is it? Is it the Shulchan? Is it divrei Torah? He wants to say, guy says for davening. Does it really work for davening if you don't know what you're saying? The Rabbi says, which is true, all Chassidim said Tehillim even they had no idea what they were saying.
It goes back. I someone wrote a whole sefer about this.
Yeah.
Good sources.
Yeah, I imagine.
Yeah. They gave value to it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the question. They gave value even though you don't know what you're saying? That's my old question. Yeah, I imagine.
All you need to know what it means.
Anything that you say, if it's a tefillah, you have to know what you're saying.
If I don't know what I'm saying by davening, I'm not right.
In general, you're speaking to Hashem. You know that you're asking
The
Hashem.
Shulchan Aruch says, you're Chabad, it says you're not Yoitza. It says clearly.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
You know famous Rav? It says in Hilchos Berchas Hamazon, if you don't know what you're saying, I think Kif Ein Hey, you have to look it up again. In middle Berchas Hamazon, he says, Paskins like the Rabbi Yoina, first time I saw it, I was frightened out of my wits. And he Paskins like the Rabbi Yoina, if you don't know what you're saying, you're not Yoitza. I'll look it up later. Berchas Hamazon, which that everyone. But he says by benching, if you don't know what you're saying by benching, you're not yoitza.
If I know the idea of what's going on.
Then okay. It's good. That's why someone becomes from, I tell them, I have a girl who's came from many years already, but she doesn't know, and I told her, if you don't know what you're saying, bench in English.
Someone who's born from has the same problem. If they were not taught in Cheder, they
Yeah,
won't
that's
know.
right. Well, no. Yeah, but by now, most people know the words. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Is Chumash any different?
Chumash is learning. We're talking about
I
davening.
don't understand.
So the Rav says, you're Yoitza. And Hilchos Talmud Torah, the Shulchan Aruch says, if you learn Torah Shabbat you don't know what you're saying, you're Yoitza Torah. If you say Torah Shabbat Peh, you don't know what you're saying, not Yoitza. But after Biken, he says, you should say it because the next word they're going to remind you. Something like that, he says. If you're learning a Gemara, you have you have no idea what you're saying. You're not Yoitza Talmud Torah, he says. After Biken,
Which includes all of
but not Torah Shabbat you have no idea what you just said, you're Yoitza Talmud Torah.
For all of Tanakh?
Yes.
Okay. So Tehillim is included.
Yeah, but the
You're not
question is
learning
davening.
Torah. You're saying you're davening.
We're saying something else. He's saying till him not as Torah, he's saying till him as davening.
What's that?
When people say Tillim, they're not saying because I want to learn Torah, they're saying Tillim because they're davening. Another capital Tillim. Which all Chassidim across the board encourage the Chassidim to say even though they don't know what you're saying. And I was always wondering if how much value it has. I mean,
You have to understand what is it has.
yeah, it has a value because, but it's better if you know what you're saying.
What about Zohar?
Same thing. Zohar not Yoitze if you don't know what you're saying.
I heard there's something special about Zohar.
The question of Yoitze Divrei Torah is many things are special. The question of Yoitze Divrei Torah or not. So the Shulchan Aruch says, if you don't know what you're saying, you're not Yoitze. He does say you should read it once because they're going to remind you the next word, the Zohar.
Wait, so when I do learn it, when I understand it, does it get backdated all the times I said it?
Probably. Okay. Then there's another question. Someone asked, I saw this before I came. Someone asked, I think Rabbi Shlomo Zalman, I saw this in the Sefer. Someone asked him that they want to make a minyan in the hospital because Getchila, Kriya Megillah has to be with a minyan. You know that, I forgot to say. Getchila, a man, Megillah, like Getchila Chazal want you should have a minyan. So someone asked him, they called him to come to minyan, and he doesn't want to go to the hospital because he wants to mekabel the mitzvah of Rav Hadras Melech. Wants to be with his friend. He told him to be mashlam at minyan is just as chashiv as Rav Hadras Melech. Calm the bocha down. You know what I mean? To make sure that guy has a chesed, to make sure the guy in the hospital has a minyan. Now that you need dafka minyan, the Mechaber says you should dafka have a minyan. You know that. The many Elchonon say that's only a ketchila. They make it adin. If you saw a miss Megillah, someone's not feeling well, there's no problem. No problem. One could eat for another. That was the minig all the time. But it's only a ketchila.
I asked you about Aveilus. Unfortunately, this year we have a lot of Aveil in there. In the Shloshim, out of the Shloshim, what do they do? What don't they do? What do you do with the Suda?
The Suda spirit, let me start this way. The Shlachmunis people called me, a few people. Shlachmunis, you're not allowed to send to the oval. They're allowed to send, but you're not allowed to send to an oval.
They can send, they can't receive.
They could send, they cannot receive. But that's by its own. But the oval is allowed to join a Sida after Shloshim for sure. It's allowed to go to someone's Suda with music, yes. With music. After Shloshim, in Shloshim, I have to look it up again. But everyone agrees, many people don't know this, I tell this to every oval, that if he loses a parent, you're talking about people losing a parent, is the oval has gewaldige tsar, the mess, has incredible pain, the Gemara says, if you're only respected by keeping the halachas. That means many people say, yeah, my mom would have wanted me to go to the wedding. My mom, you know what I mean? But there's no such a thing. But it's a very, very painful for the nifter. The Gemara says that this is the last honor you give, and you're enjoying yourself. You're going to weddings.
But an oval can go to a party with music?
An oval cannot go to any party in Mezuzah besides Purim. There's music a whole year he cannot
What
go.
about by night?
One night.
Is there a difference
Yes, only the Sudas Purim, not at night.
So not at night.
Not at night, only the Suda. There's no mitzvah at night. Sudas Purim is on a bidet, and he cannot go, he could go in the year, he go to a Suda if there's no music and he doesn't eat there. So an oval could go to let's say, a Vard. If he goes there, he doesn't eat and there's no music. But if there's music, he cannot go there. And if there's no music and eats, he also cannot go there. Someone just texted me, mamish, yesterday, that it's after the Shloshim ready, and she wants to take out her husband to her birthdays, 43rd birthday, and wants to go out with his parents, and who knows. And I said, yeah. Told him, your husband's be annoyed with you? No. So he said, that's what Chazal said. Just a social event. You're not allowed to go.
Purim is the only exception.
Purim is the only exception. Also, if there's no music, you could go only after Shloshim and not eat.
These
Two things. And always look for kulas. And there's in Yiddish in Williamsburg, I heard when I was young, I used to use that. How does a person go to a wedding? They say it's a hetamei rabbanim. You know what a hetamei rabbanim means? You ever heard that expression? Yeah. There's a hetamei rabbanim to get. Someone could marry another wife. He just doesn't want to take a get. It's many rabbanim don't know the halachas. Just say it's okay. Really, there's no heta. Really. Okay. Let me tell you another very interesting thing. A guy was in jail. This is a story that happened in the times of the Ridbaz. The Ridbaz lived a long, long time ago. Guy was in jail, and the Tsar gave him 1 day of the year you can leave jail to do one of your mitzvahs. Choose 1 day. So he asked, should he go out Purim? Should he go Yom Kippur? He asked him, which day should he take? What do you say? So he asked him, so the Ridbaz says, tomorrow you should go. Why? Mitzvah abu lehiyotchu al tachmitzenu. You have a mitzvah that comes to your hand. Don't, you know what al tachmitzenu means? It's a gemara. Don't let it get chometzdik. You just had it daf yomi, right? You just learned it. The gemara says you have a mitzvah, do it right away. Don't wait. You never know what's going to happen. In Yiddish, there's a saying: so owes you money, and he doesn't have the whole money. Just take what he has, gave you. No, don't wait. Don't wait. Okay. Al tachmitzenu is a lashon Gemara. Don't let it get sour. So there's another thing that I want to say. Women were obligated. Now, many people, the Lubavitch Rebbe's I remember one year he made a big fuss about this, that your woman also obligated to shlach manas. They're also obligated to tunis levyoinim. So you have to, but the Shulchan Aruch says clearly, woman should send to woman, and what's the name? A man should not send to a lady. It says in Shulchan Aruch, a lady should not send to a man, woman to a woman, a man to a man. And a husband should have in mind when he gives matunas levyoinim that he gives for his wife, and tell the children al chinuch. I think the Lubavitch Rebbe is one who made a big tumult about this one year. And it says in Shulchan Aruch clearly, many people are not makbid. That means you give. You say you give it and give it. Tell your daughters put in the matunas levyoinim. Give your children. You should put into the pishka, the yoitza.
If a person gave money before Purim,
not yoitza.
Came to the Evyon on Purim.
Then it's good. It makes a shliach, then it works. They raise money here that they're going to give for the V'yoinim and Eretz Yisrael.
That's right. And that you can give now. And if a person
they should give it on Purim.
If a person gives on Purim to Eretz Yisrael and it's going to get there a week later,
no, that's not good.
It has to be
on Purim.
Received on Purim.
Has to be received on Purim. Then there's another, that's simple. The Rambam says that we do the opposite of what it says in the Rambam. The Rambam says that the minig is many people give a lot of gifts to people. The Rambam says you should batunis ishlerei. Batunis ishlerei is one person to one person. Do you know that? Shlachmunis is one person. Batunis levyonim is for two people. The avyonim you have to give for two avyonim, Shlachmonas is the one person. 2 fruit ishlerei, 2 fruit ishlerei. One to a friend, you should give 2 fruits, sort of to say. And Matunas lav yoinim. The Rambam says the minute you should rather give a lot more for tzedukah, special for people really broken hearted. You should give them rather give so much shlachmanas, because people spend enormous amount of money for shlachmanas. It's just incredible.
It's about them. It's not about who gets
I know that's about right. But the Rambam says the biggest mitzvah is to how you say uplift a broken heart.
Do you know about this Purim shuttle that they do at the Shiurim? So
Every school does.
I don't know. So they asked, one of the questions was, do you want to donate it?
You want to what?
Do you want to donate it? Do you want to donate your shlachmanos, I guess?
What option do you have?
It's up there. Check them out.
Based on how many people give you this bigger present. You can donate your present.
The whole thing, they deliver it at night. It's a fundraiser. Everyone knows it's a fundraiser.
So what I'm asking is.
I know that. I get about 100 people at least.
If it's donated to people who are needy, is that included also?
No, that's not shlachmanas. Shlachmanas is a chiyuv you should give to one person. The whole thing is a fundraising thing.
Everyone knows it's a fundraiser.
Yeah, no one thinks it's yotze with that.
Listen, when you're giving Matzvah, giving to all these organizations that come to your house, does that consider Matzvah meaning?
You should give to a poor person. I am very makpid on Purim. I know, unfortunately, a few people are mamish. You know, people don't. It's not that people go collecting. People had normal jobs and out of a job for a while, and mamish. That's mamish the biggest life you could give them. I'm sure the Rabbi knows also plenty of this neighborhood.
Last year, I told people they give money to Tauber Shabbos.
Yes.
They mamash give or to Muriel.
You give to Toncha Shabbos.
They're not giving it on.
They give it
On Purim. Toncha Shabbos gives on Purim. I give it to Toncha Shabbos a big check.
I brought money on Purim. He gave out on Purim. I raised money here.
Oh, that's my time
Yes, he gives it. He knows all the broken-hearted people. So, okay, let me just say another interesting thing. You know, the Gemara has a very interesting question. There's certain, there's a din that Urim Abakef is choyma. You know what that means? Cities that have a choyma, there was mani shubanin, they read Tesvov. That's Yerushalayim reads Tesvov. In Yerushalayim they have a choyma. I'll go with Yerushalayim. Okay, so you read, Tesvov. So in Etzisol they go hopping. They read V'tidala, they read Tesvov. So the Gemara says Tveria is a suffix. It had a choyma or it didn't have a choyma. So you read Tveria both days and you don't make a bracha. So the Ran asks a very interesting kasha. It's today's you dalet. Why don't you say, I'm not sure today, tomorrow, suffix derban lekula.
Go back to when you start off with the Rambam.
Yeah, and tomorrow,
You answered this in the
and tomorrow, say the same thing. Tomorrow you want me to read the Megillah. Maybe it was yesterday. And say, suffix derban lekula. What?
You don't make a bracha at all?
On any of the days?
And they do make a bracha dalet. Because Roiv world they go b'serav. But the Chazal said we don't know if Tveria, so you mach me both Yidal and Tesvov. So the Ran asked the kasha, why don't you sit there one kula? So come what I said, maybe it's a draisa, but the Ran asked this question. The Ran says, "Amoydi digi yisod." We never say sufik derban kula if we're going to wipe away a mitzvah. That means Tveria you never read a Megillah. If you dalet, you're going to say maybe it's tomorrow. Tomorrow you say maybe it's yesterday. So Tveria you never going to read the Megillah. That cannot be. The Ran says the same thing by Arba Koises. The Gemara has a suffix. Which of the two koises need a saber? One of them is, the 4 koises, 2 is before the meal, and 2 is after the meal. 2 represents avodim, and 2 represents cheres. So it's a machlokes which 2 you should be a saber. One of them says you should not make a saber the first 2 koises. The first kois says avodim ahini, we're slaves. Only the last 2 koises, we're not eating, and we're drinking, and we're benching. Then you make a saver. The other one who says, no, in the beginning of the meal already, we're drinking wine to show v'cheres. Just the opposite. Main thing is the beginning to show. Later, it's not so important. You want to poke the guy in the face. Beginning. So the Ran says, so if a guy didn't make any saver, it should be a suffix d'Rabban l'kula, saver shon d'Rabban. The Ran said the same thing. If you're going to say suffix d'Rabban l'kula, there won't be any saver. That cannot be. There has to be a saver. So that's why we're machmer l'chumri. Understand? That's why Megillah, we don't say it's a suffix, you don't need the Megillah. Because you can't say something to the Rabban, otherwise you're never going to read the Megillah. You follow what I'm saying?
Famous Sifra.
What do you say?
Very famous Sifra about Seba.
Sicha,
Not connected to this.
No.
Then I want to say into someone asked me, what do I do Marav? When do I do have a Marav in Purim?
When did you what?
You know, you say the meal and you get a drink. You drink. I'm not talking about Friday, Motzei Shabbos.
That's Obama should know this question.
When did you do what?
Why not?
Oh, Myra.
You're not allowed to daven drunk.
Shemanes, you're not allowed. I tell them I daven. But what I do every year, as soon as it gets dark, I daven Krishma, Berchas Krishma. You're allowed to daven even if you're drunk. That means the Berchas Krishma. And
Are you drunk by Myra?
Sudas Purim is the late after. When do you make your Sudas Purim?
Sunday night.
Sunday afternoon. You're supposed to make. I'm going to tell you something. You're supposed to make. I'm going to just say in Halacha. Your main. The Shulchan Aruch says and screams, the Megavruam and the Shlu, that the people make the Suda of Purim at night. The Chiyuv is by day.
To eat them food by day.
Yeah, and drink.
2 years ago, yeah.
And the drinking is a chelik of the Suda, the Rambam learns.
Isn't it good enough to just wash before Shkia?
No. You have to eat a meal and drink in the meal by Yoim and get drunk by Yoim. That's the mitzvah.
So you daven Marav after you're drunk.
So I daven Marav, yes, I daven Marav.
You're not
And
gonna be Yotzei.
that Marav Yotzei. Shemoneh, I don't daven right away Shemoneh.
Person's drunk, you can't understand.
Not, well, I understand. I never get. It's very hard for me to get drunk. Even if I get drunk, I know exactly what I'm doing.
Do you do the Marsha or not at all? You don't go to sleep?
Let me show
The Marsha says you go to sleep and you
the Ramah says. No, the Ramah says in Shulchan Aruch. The Ramah says drink till I go to sleep. No, I drink until I get. The Rambam says. Someone taught me a word in English. You're supposed to be buzzed. The Rambam says you're not supposed to be drunk. You know what you're doing. Yeah, the Rambam says the Rambam's lotion should be tipsy from your drinking. Doesn't say you should. The Rambam's lotion is very clear.
There's other Rishonim that use that term.
They're very machmer, I know.
Actually,
But no, so Shemoneh Esrei, I wait much later. Sometimes I fall asleep. I ask my wife to wake me up, and I get up and I daven Marav Shemoneh Esrei. Because unfortunately, many people, the whole is out the window.
It's not out the window. I think people daven when they're shaken, they think that they're not that shaken.
Like driving.
But I they're driving, yeah.
So what's under the other?
That's not the way out.
And we don't know what it means other. The Rambam learns other means just a little bit tipsy. Actually, his balbel daito mi yain. Balbel daito mi doesn't mean they're drunk. You're a bit all confused. How you say in English?
Buzz.
That's buzz. Someone told me English is called buzz. A little bit.
Well, probably is your alcohol level should be that you shouldn't drive. You should be like 0.8 or something.
And the truth is, every person is different. It takes me a long time to get. I drink. It takes me. I don't know why. It takes me a really long time to get drunk. There are people just a little bit.
And Dafka the yain or also?
The Rambam says that the Redushna Rambam is yain. Many of them bedakti dafka wine. It's the Rambam and the Gemara says yain. Yeah. I don't know. I can't say it's. I cannot say not yotzei, but the Loshna Rambam is wine. The Loshna Gemara is wine. Could be yotzei whiskey. Can't say not yotzei.
The city has some billboards about not drinking and driving. So one of them says buzz driving is drunk driving.
That's not the exit. What about Simchas Torah? Should one get drunk on Simchas Torah?
I don't drink Simchas Torah. We don't have that many.
I'm just, but is it,
But if you drunk,
is it like a Mizayim to the Chag or something like that?
No, I can't call it bezayin to the chag. No, but if you're drunk, you're not allowed to daven. Shemoneh Esrei. So then there's another thing. The question: can a katan be moitzei? Well, a few years ago, there was a bar mitzvah bacher was reading, and a guy came, calls me up, stop the boy middle of reading. The one of the late minyanim in my shul. And how do you know that he has a heavy shtei saros? I says, what? He says, no, I said that it's only the Rabbanan. The Rabbanan was sure to say bar mitzvah bacher is okay. But let me explain what I'm saying. There's a din that even though you have bar mitzvah, you're not a gadol unless you have 2 black hairs in the pubic area. That's what makes you a gadol. So we don't know. So legaba d'Rabbanan, mitzvah d'Rabbanan l'mashal, we say chazok d'Rava. Chazok d'Rava says once a bar mitzvah, we assume that he has a black hair, so that's why you can moitze Megillah, the chazok d'Rava. Do you know when there's a problem? What? Pashazach is a problem because most places come said Raisa, and we had in the community there was a Chabad person, they had to give chalitza. You know about this story. There was, you live in my neighborhood. Yes, what was it? Dubinsky's his name. Yeah. Dubinsky. So this boy, he was 12 years old now when his brother passed away. He had to wait till he became bar mitzvah. He had to wait and make sure that we had to make sure. I made the chalitza then with Rabbi Teichman, and that we had to make sure that he's a gadol. He has 2 black hairs. That's that because we don't say chazuk on the rice under the banner, but a real cotton is a machlokes. It could be mitzi a gadol. Because the whole thing is a drabanim. So Tosis has 2 tritzim. One teretz Tosis says you could be moitza because mikra megillah is a drabanim and a child is the drabanim. In order to know a child is a trade drabanim because the whole chinuch is a drabanim. And then the mikra megillah is a drabanim. It's called trade drabanim. Cannot be yoitza chad drabanim. A human. The Tosis verse speaks about the human. Middle long Tosis. The Gemara says, "Nushim abagei trid de Megillah of hem hoyi ba'oisanes." So the Mechalik is Rashi and Tosis. You know what that means? The Gemara says, "Woman abagei trid de Megillah," because of hem hoyi ba'oisanes. So what does that mean? Have hoyi ba'oisanes. So somebody showing Rashi seems to say the reason that have hem hoyi ba'oisanes is woman have to read the Megillah too. Why? Because they were in the miracle too. So what is Rashi understands? What was the miracle? Because they Haman wanted to kill the woman too. Men, woman, children, wipe everyone out, and we were saved. So there was a mitzvah to read the Megillah. Chanukah Rashi also learns that way. Woman obligated Chanukah, you know that, because they were also in the nest. What was the nest? Because there were guys on them too. Tosis says differently. Tosis says Takasha. That's not a good reason. Because it sees Mitzrayim women also had shibit. Mitzrayim women were obligated. And still all the mitzvahs, Etzesh Shvangruma, woman is potter. You understand? So that's not a good reason. So Tosis says the main miracle came with Esther. And by Chanukah, the miracle came through the Yehudis. She started the ball rolling. Since the nest happened through woman, that's why the Mechuyev.
When did they become
a 12-year-old child. When a gil, a chinuch, you ask him before chinuch. Chinuch, a child who's 6 years old, is chinuch already.
She should sit and listen?
Yeah, if she has its flesh, how you say its flesh? She has patience.
But by 12 it's a chiyuv.
That's for sure. 12 is a chiyuv. But if she can't, then you can't. I can't, there are children who could sit 45 minutes, there are children who after 2 minutes, they're out. That depends on. There's another question: can a woman be moitze a man?
What's connected to the cotton being moitze?
No, a woman is a chiv the same as a. It's not chinuch. So there's a big. Oh, that's a very good question.
No, what if there's no trouble?
No. No, there's trouble.
I know, but what if you're reading?
No.
That's called singing.
So the Mishnah says, a very interesting Mishnah. The Mishnah says a woman should not read the Torah, should not be the Baal Koira, als Kuvah Tzibur. So it's clear from the Mishnah is that there's no Bekol Beisha. But one of the Rishonim learned, you know what Kuvah Tzibur means? Als Kol Beisha. One of the Rishonim. But most Rishonim don't know. Well, it's not Kuvah Tzibur. So the question is that a woman cannot read the Megillah for men. Can women read for other women? Most basically, a woman could read for other women. That, but a woman would never makbet minyan. No, would never makbet woman for minyan. Never. So a woman, many hold that. But what happens if a woman can be moitze her husband? I know many years, a long time ago, someone asked me this question. It was in the hospital that they were. I remember now who. Someone was in a special. His wife was getting. His wife I remember the story. I think because the question was, can she read the Megillah for the husband? He was me'ikra din. It says in the pasuk you can't, but if there's no choice, yes, she could read the Megillah.
Can a woman motzi a man like for a motzi? Like the modern Orthodox do this?
And Shulchan the Gemara says you shouldn't do it. I know someone told me that he is a modern Orthodox uncle, and every second week, 1 week he makes a mitzi, and 1 week
They take turns.
yes, somebody
So,
said.
is it,
Gemara says you shouldn't do it. The Gemara. It's Gemara and Brachas. Shouldn't do it.
and what about the Shulchan Aruch? Is it brought there also?
So well done. You shouldn't do it. Can't say it's asa. You shouldn't do it. But a woman mitzi kiddush. Yeah, mitzi is not so terrible. Mitzi is not so terrible. But kiddush is a major problem because
Motzi is not a problem.
not so terrible. Kiddush is a problem because first of all, not as a question is a woman is chiv. A woman are obligated kiddush deraisa. But the question is, if he davened, he's only the rabbanan. Then she's a deraisa. The chayim have a whole.
Okay, the question is opposite, that he davens, so for him it's
The rabbanan, yeah. So she cannot be moitze him.
How can he be moitzi for his wife? His wife didn't
He
daven.
could be moitze his wife because arvis. No, but that's arvis. You could be moitze. Arvis, you could be moitze. Arvis, you can make the question the other way. A woman doesn't have arvis the other way around. So if he was yotzei the rabbanan, he needs. How could she? The Shulchan says a woman should not read for a man by kiddush. I know they make kiddush. I was told by people. One Shabbos she makes kiddush, and one Shabbos. Very makbid who's who the terms.
If the husband's not around, she can make kiddush for the kids.
For the kids, it depends. Not for bar mitzvah bracha.
Not for bar mitzvah.
No,
The bar mitzvah bracha
it's
better.
to make himself.
For the Megillah, do you have to lane with trot to be yotzi?
No, yotzei without chop. But if you misread a word totally, you're not yotzei the Megillah. You know, if you don't hear one word of the Megillah, you're not yotzei. Do you know that?
What about listening to it when we're drunk?
Listen, you shouldn't.
We do it?
Yeah, if you heard every word, but when you're drunk, you don't know what you're doing. You're not supposed to be you're not supposed to be drunk at night. You're not supposed to be drunk in the morning. You're supposed to listen to the Megillah. And there is no mitzvah to get drunk at night. You should know that. You don't no extra credit. It's just no extra credit, no extra points.
Can you yotzi
Just
by
like according to
recording?
Kabbalah, also to drink at night?
What?
Recording,
No?
rather than someone
Sure.
reading. A recording,
What do you mean?
No.
According not yotzei.
like from a tape.
No, he's asking, can be yotzei from a tape.
Over the phone.
Over the phone, neither. You cannot be yotzei over the phone. You cannot be yotzei over the phone because it's not your voice. Yeah, I spoke to experts. It's b'chlal not your voice.
So microphone also?
Big microphone, the same problem. That's why the Fruma don't have a microphone by Megillah for this problem. You know, you speak to people, you know electronics, how it works. It's not your voice. So you know, Skype. Can I be moitzi with Skype? Same thing. And I had no people moitzi the wives with Havdalah on the phone. Can I be moitzi your wife with Havdalah on the phone? And she has to listen to Havdalah. I went to the hospital. My wife was in the hospital for so many weeks. Every month Shabbos, I made Havdalah for her.
You didn't make Havdalah for yourself.
I waited anyways. I mean, I didn't have small children at home. But.
Is there somebody, if the male and the male members of the house are not from, and the female members are, and they want to make kiddush, better that they make kiddush for themselves, right?
Yeah, it's better to make kiddush for themselves.
For themselves.
For themselves, yes.
And they're just not yotzing anybody,
Yeah.
they're just motzing anybody. But they can motzi the other women.
Other woman, yes. Only if she was not. There could be mitzvah other woman if shmei koin. If they didn't, yes, it could be mitzvah other woman.
Does it make a difference who's reading the Torah? As far as a non-Jew, let's say.
Non-Jew cannot be mitzvah's person. A non-Jew cannot be mitzvah. How does it work? When someone reads the Megillah, you are moitzi shmei koina, and you're moitzi arvis. You know what arvis means? I am responsible for your shortcomings. So I could be moitzi you. A goy has no chiyuv, can't be moitzi. The Yerushalmi asks a better question. Shama wants to know if, let's say, in Yerushalayim, it's Tesvav, and a guy who's going back to Yerushalayim and is in Dalet and Bnei Barak, can he read the Megillah for Bnei Barak? Shama says you can't because you're not chiyuv yet, Bedorah. He is a Jewish person, but he's going right now back to Yerushalayim, which his chiyuv is going to be tomorrow. So you have to be, it's a question. Yerushalmi, but Al-Kapon, is it big tzad in Yerushalmi that you can't. You have to be obligated to be mitzi. You could have been yoitz already. You know what it means? That you read the Megillah. Chabad Bochum go around reading the Megillah for people. So you're yoitz already, and that's where you can be mitzi someone else. You follow? But you have to be a bar chayuva. You know what that means? You have to be obligated. If you're obligated, you can be mitzi someone else. So the woman, I don't know if you have children, that we have, our neighborhood we have, either read in the shul or they read on Bucket's house. But you have to, women have to go listen by day and at night. There is no ifs, ands, and buts about that. I know it's very annoying for the woman. It's late and.
They could be in the next room.
Yeah.
Because they're actually.
Yeah, there could be a bit of a women's section. The main thing is that we clap a Haman. The one who's reading Megillah should make sure that if they start clapping too early, you should repeat the Haman, because you have to hear every word of the Megillah.
Are you? I don't know if you know, like the Chabad houses these days, because when you're reading Megillah for a non-from crowd, they'll lose interest. You know what I'm saying? It's just listening. So nowadays they project the whole story on the wall as the Valkyrie is leaning. I don't know if you know about this.
And they talk out of the middle?
No.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay, it's better Shamilas.
That's okay. That's okay. As long as the Balkari doesn't talk out. Someone told me that in modern Orthodox shuls, that ben Gavra Gavra, the rabbi gets up and says a whole drasha. Is that true? The Gavra. The Kriyas Torah. And I said to the guy, I can't believe it. Moshe has a whole tshuva not to do it. He has a whole tshuva.
Wait, what about on
You know,
regular shops between aliyahs?
That's what I'm saying.
You're not supposed to? I've seen it many places.
Yes, and Moshe has a whole tshuva, you're not allowed to do it.
Why?
He says because it's Terchot, it's Sabira, and he brings a whole Gemara that he says, we don't, because the guy goes up and he says, what are we going to read? So Moshe says that, the Shulchan Aruch says, we don't have Targum. So the Rishonim asked, so why don't we make our own Targum, own translation? The Rishonim asked the Kasha, we don't read, why don't we, you know how it used to read the Torah? Pasuk by Pasuk, one person would read it. Pasuk, then the Targum. So the Rishonim said, why do we say? Because no one knows Targum. No one knows Spanish. Okay, they understand Targum?
Yeah, they read here and down. They read.
Yeah, but they do it as a meaning. I don't know if they know Targum. They also don't know Targum. They don't speak Targum. I happen to know Targum. You read it for so many years, you get to know Targum. It's Lushan HaGemura, Lushan HaZoyer a little bit. So the Rishonim says, why don't we make the Balatoy says, why don't we make like an English today? So we don't want to say anything that's not a Lucha Moshe Messina. The Targum is a Lucha Moshe Messina, I knew exactly. So Moshe says, if we didn't want to translate the Pasuk at all, so how could someone get up and say this is what we can read? They wanted the Kriyas Torah should be pure.
It's a Kalvachomer.
Yeah, that's what he says. That I was told recently that a guy asked me, he went to a shul, and the rabbi was darshaning, you know that?
I've seen it. I don't know, it's like what's coming up in the next aliyah, they talk about it.
Right. That's what I heard. I just heard about this.
So that is why we can't have breaks in between.
Shouldn't have breaks. Really, the whole Misha Beirach, people don't know this. In the Gemara, Zman Gemara, one after another that he is. Why did they make Misha Beirach? It was a way to raise money for the shul. That's what they made the Misha Beirach. They used to make one Misha Beirach after everything, one Misha Beirach. But, the shul needs a little cash. The rabbi needs... So they made this, that between the aliyahs, they made Shebeirach and guys should donate. But even that, you have to be mekatzer,
We have to understand it to be Yotze?
What? Understand the Megillah? No.
Not Megillah, Torah.
The Torah? No, but Megillah is also, the Gemara says we don't know how to translate how does it, Achshtarun Remuchim. We don't know how to translate two words, no one knows what it means. V'yaitza. Interesting.
Because you have the general,
No, but but even though Shulchan Aruch says you have no idea, you don't know a word, you just became religious, or you are from Russia, you don't know a word, you're Yotzei the Megillah.
like the hymn.
Yeah, but Megillah, Chazal said, Yotzei per Simanissa, But that's a special halacha. The Gemara discusses this, like even those and know. By Bechas Hamazon, take a look on Rambam. It's Kif Pei Hey. Look on the Shulchan Aruch Rav. He says a chiddush there. Any other question about Megillah?
No. I have a question on New Adliyoda. What if you have a parent or a spouse who tells you not to drink? Do you have to listen to them?
Well, you only have a parent, a spouse. You don't have to listen to. You have to listen to everything your spouse says.
She's saying halal.
Kibbud Avim, if the Kibega says if the parent holds the stock dangerous, unhealthy, you have to listen. No, it's not. The son just his mom calls him up. I don't want you to drink. So, but Adala Yoda, you're allowed to drink. More than that, the Chumr of Adala Yoda, the Kibega holds you're not allowed to. I got you into trouble now? What did I do?
No. It's something I went around this week as a chuba. I saw when I saw someone send it. It's been asked the question.
So what did they answer you?
I didn't understand that it's.
So Rabbi Kiva Eiger has a tshuva about this. Someone asked Rabbi Kiva Eiger, his father said in the tzvah, he should be not makpid in Yoshan. You know what Yoshan Chodesh is? He says, Rabbi Kiva Eiger says that since his father said it has health reasons, you have to listen.
What's the logic of that?
Yeah, there's a big question. Yeah,
Health is important.
I remember now. It's a very difficult tshuva, Rabbi Kiva Eiger. I remember. I mean, it's difficult because others disagree. There's mashal is mashmalah that way.
The Megillah is missing words. It's not,
You still use the Megillah.
you still use it. I think you know in your head how to fill it.
Yeah, someone's going to read it. It says in Gemara clearly, but Megillah is missing words. The beginning shouldn't be missing, the end. But missing a whole chapter, middle is also good. The many Megillahs are missing today. Not. You know why it used to be missing? That's how the Seifrim learned how to write. There's no names of Hashem in the Megillah. So there's no problem moichik. So any starters always wrote a Megillah. Let me tell you another cute shala. I had someone. Yeah.
You said about the father telling the kid not to drink. Does it make a difference how old the kid is?
If the kid lives at home, the kid has to listen to your father anyways. That's for sure.
Even an adult?
You're an adult. That's the Kivegas Chiddush.
Okay.
A child who lives, have sometimes chutzpah, children call me up. Do I have to listen to my parent? Says, they tell me this, then they took away a toy, a Game Boy, Xbox, it's called, whatever. So I said to them, as long as they're supporting you, you're living under their roof, you have to listen. Because this boy complained, he got a bar mitzvah present, it's called Xbox, what it's called?
I think you shared the story, but it sounds familiar.
Yeah, and his father took it away from him because he, went to sleep late every night. He says, but I got it from grandfather. It's not his. He has no right to take it away. Oy b'chuchum. So, yes.
I think like 10 years ago or something like that, I think people were came up with some sort of way of screen printing Megillahs. Did you hear this? So is that, and I think there might have been someone who around who said it was okay.
Well, not just print. He held you could write a Sefer Torah this way. Now, this is not his question. This question is old a few hundred years. The first time printing came out, the question was, can we print a get? You want to print a get? L'shma. L'shem Gerishon. So it was Mechoikish in the Taz and the Ramam Apanoi. Then Hilchos Gittin. And some held it, that means they held you could write a mezuzah this way. The one who was making mezuzah, everything. This is not, people make it sound of today's, but this was an old question.
Yeah.
But this guy came and made a big chiddush. He says, I'm not going to print this way. I'm going to make a stencil. So I'm writing. What's wrong with that? The Machmirim could not give a good reason what's wrong with it. I said, I want to see a tshuva, someone to explain what's wrong. They just came out with a letter, signed, you can't make it. I don't know why. Because he didn't, do a print. You know what a stencil is?
Yeah.
So what's wrong with the stencil exactly? In Hilchos Gittin, it says that someone doesn't know to write it, we should make a stencil, like, and help him sign the get. The reason probably the Rabbanan says not to do it, no one did it all these years. That's what I imagine. But halacha, it's very hard to say what's wrong.
And the kibbutz on the aim, so we have to honor our parents. We don't have to listen to everything they say.
That's not so simple. There's a Ramah that says, a famous Ramah, the Ramah says if a parent tells you not to marry someone, you don't have to listen. The Ramah says, you know why? Because you have to marry someone who you like. So everyone's madag. What do you mean they like? I don't have to listen to my parents. There's nothing to do with them. It's none of the business who I marry. The Ramah says, because there's a mitzvah that the Gemara says you should marry someone who you like, who you prefer. It's a Gemara. So if your parent says, no, you don't have to listen. You have to be happy with your wife. This is this happens a lot. I could tell you a Purim story that happened. Now I can tell you a quick story what happened. Happened, a Shadchan told me, a good friend of mine is a Shadchan. Says a lady comes into Stormborough Park, and this is selling a lady stuff, I forgot what it was, and he sees this girl coming in, and she fell for this girl for her son. Her son lived in Lakewood, and the mother had this mishigas. My son has to marry a fast toya, a fast mara. You know what that means? Has to marry a beauty queen, you say in English? A beauty queen. He fell. So he asked the stoker, you know who she is? Sure, I know who she is. Try to imagine the name is Friedman. Yes, she's Hannah Friedman. So she calls up this Friedman, and the boy goes out with the girl. So he goes out a few times. I don't know, but in Balalit he went out 5-6 times. He brings the girl home. His mother's standing there. She almost fainted. It's not the girl. It's not the girl. What happened? I'm sure by many of your families. I have a raisi. My brother has a raisi. And so there were two brother Friedmans, but she called the shadchan the wrong one. And the mother said, she turned white as a sheet, didn't say a word, and after her, the mother said to the boy, you're not marrying her. Ma, I like her, I'm marrying her. So she said, on my dead body. So he went to a Rav, and the Rav told him a really frightening story. He went to a Rav, and the Rav told him, I want to tell you a story. 25 years ago, the same story happened, a little differently. And the mother says, on my dead body, and the boy didn't listen. A week before the wedding, the mother didn't wake up. She says, don't say that. Your brother, son likes it, you have to marry, not lady. That's told the mother. She didn't help, but he went to the Rebbe, what's his name? One of the Rebbe's, Alter Rebbe, forgot his name, comes here to LA from time to time. A real holy person, comes to devices. Forgot the name now. So anyway, Skelena Rebbe. The Skelena Rebbe told her not to stop the shidduch. But that you see from the Ramah, an interesting thing. The Ramah is saying that the meaning was, you don't have to listen because you have to marry who you like. No, I have to listen to my mother says don't drink at all. So from the Ramah, you see, there's not, doesn't.
Living at home.
No, he's talking about not living at all, nothing to do with living at all. No, doesn't say that. He says because there's a mitzvah. Seems like from the Ramah, other things that they tell you, others disagree. Others learn that has nothing to do, only mitzvah machil mashkei. Your father tells you, cut your beard off, you don't have to listen. Your father tells you, have a long beard, you don't have to listen. But it's a machlokes in the Achronim, how far the mitzvah goes.
He says not to drink, it's going against the
That's it, going to mitzvah, I'm Purim, right? But if your father tells you not to get drunk, drunk, that's not a mitzvah to get drunk. Okay.
So when somebody